this is an easy thing. It's not. Even renovation's tough. A lot of moving parts, a lot of sequencing, scheduling things properly, making sure you know the details, from getting plans drawn, working with an interior designer all the way through, if it's an architect and engineers, if there's any civil work, working with inspectors, working with your SDG&Es and your water districts, and all of that needs to be nailed before you start so that you have this clear path.
So what does it take to build a custom home in San Diego? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with Stan the Man, Stanley Dean Construction, a proven professional here in San Diego. Stan, great to see you.
Likewise.
All right. So, yeah, tell me where to start. If I was building a custom home, I got this lot in La Jolla, where would we start?
You would start with a phone call. A lot of times, they all start organically with a conversation. A lot of times it's referrals by friends and family, okay, to a design team. You may have a home that you already live in that you're looking to tear down and build something, your dream home, or it's, you're buying a piece of land that needs going through entitlement. Maybe it can't have a home on it yet. There's so many, that's a loaded question. There's a lot of different directions that question takes you. But at the end of the day, it's locking in a design team. And one of the things that people miss is you want to lock in a contractor as early as you can. Now, we're not talking about renovation and room additions. We're talking about custom home building, right? So you got to make the distinction because the process is different, right? A lot of people think you go get 3 bids for everything and you compare. And
tell me about that. Tell me about that, because I've had new homes and homes pre-built, and that was the rule people told me was seek out 3 contractors for landscaping, 3 contractors for your roof or your solar or whatever. You said something right there that kind of caught my attention.
Well, and again, if I'm putting on a new roof, again, if it's a renovation of an existing home, and if it's multiple trades, so my trades, if you're looking at doing your redoing all the bathrooms in your home and you want to put a small room addition on, and so it's all the different trades from mechanical, electrical, plumbing, it's framing, it's drywall, it's tile, it's all, you've got casework, which is cabinetry and countertops and all these different trades. If you feel like you can manage all those trades, then you go get a bid from multiple tile contractors, making sure they're all licensed, bonded, insured, and all of that jazz, and looking at their reviews, or a general contractor, which I suggest because a lot of people think this is an easy thing. It's not. Even renovation's tough. A lot of moving parts, a lot of sequencing, scheduling things properly, making sure you know the details, from getting plans drawn, working with an interior designer all the way through, if it's an architect and engineers, if there's any civil work, working with inspectors, working with your SDG&Es and your water districts, and all of that needs to be nailed before you start so that you have this clear path to the end of your project, right? So there's a lot of moving parts there. Staying with just the mindset of getting 3 bids, okay? That works for that situation. And I'm not saying that you don't get, interview multiple builders if you're building a custom home, but you want to have, when they're designing your home, you talk to an architect, an architectural firm, and you tell them what you want. They're like, absolutely, let's design that. It'll be amazing. And they will. And they'll design you the most incredible home and living experience. But then you go start talking to contractors for pricing. Wait, this is way more than I thought I would spend, because architects love them, but and we work with so many and they're amazing professionals, but you want a contractor who really understands what it is going to cost to build the home, and that is a moving target depending on FF&E, fixture, finish, and equipment, site conditions. Are we building on slopes? Do we have good fill? Can we build on the fill that's there? Do we have to export and import? Do we have site walls? All the drainage, all the work in the street for utilities, tying it, there's so many questions that need to be answered to really understand a budget. So having a contractor involved early is important. So you're really going off at that point. You want to look at what you can to get an idea of who they are. And you want to interview them from a standpoint of, do they communicate well? Are they quick to respond to you? Do they have good ideas? Do they have good conversation? Have they built things like this before? And you can get those answers. And, and like with us, we don't make you jump into bed with us for a construction contract, okay? We have a very specific process that we take people through. It's a 3-step process. First process gives you an idea of what you could spend, even if it's just a concept. Those are very loose ranges. But then we get into if that works and you've interviewed everyone, you like how we roll, you like our communication, we go into project development agreement. So that is the important piece, because in there, that's where all the work gets done.
Nice.
To get designed, get budgeted. So the design, the scope gets defined. No scope gap. Key piece. You don't want to start a project and then later on you find out your contractor just missed something and didn't account for it in your budget. there's change order. So no scope gap. So define your scope, define your budget with allowances for FF&E, because you can spend whatever you want on tile. You can spend whatever you want on countertops. Cabinetry. I mean, the list is massive.
There's a lot there.
There's a lot of decisions to make. So you
Absolutely.
can, and then getting a schedule nailed.
Yeah.
So you want to work with a builder that the value they bring to the table is their communication and understanding the process. We've systemized our business. We have processes for everything internally that allows us to manage projects efficiently. We don't need 100 employees to do that. But we have guys that want careers, not jobs. They take a lot of pride in what they build, and we develop relationships with these clients.
Right.
These projects take couple years, in some cases 2 to 3 years. They're huge.
So you said scope was one, schedule, and I think the third one was budget, right? Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about budget.
Budgets all over the board, right? Depending on the type of home you want and the features you want it to have. And are we just building a house on a small lot, or are we building a house that's on 3 acres that we have to touch every inch of that property, put in bio-retention ponds, riprap pads, all the stormwater requirements, everything that goes into touching 3 acres of a property, fencing, gates, pools, the landscape itself. You can spend a couple $100,000 on 3 acres. You can spend a couple million, depending on what you're going to do. So you want to work through all that with good designers, a great landscape architect, a great building architect, good interior designers, and then our role is to champion the conversation. We're the conduit from all of those pieces to you. Right, and so that's where, again, why we like to be involved early, because we can head off we can get the VE and value engineering, right? So people will come to us. One of our employees over here is working on one. It's a big project that's coming up, huge budget, okay, extraordinary home in the La Jolla Shores. But the budget that we bid it per plan, and the budget's massive, and the owner loves everything about it, doesn't want to spend that money, so we go into VE. This is all pre-construction.
Right.
So we're giving him options that don't take away from the grandeur and the beauty of this home, but we can do things, we can find different ways to do things. Now, based on our experience, our subs experience, we can come up with options that still check all the boxes, but don't have to cost an arm and a leg. So it's save, spend, splurge. Like the lighting package for this home, I don't want it touched, okay? The lighting is incredible. We don't skimp on that. But do we need 4 by 8 foot slabs of tile on every wall?
Right.
All right. Do we have to clad every single garden wall on the property? Right. So interior door packages, we don't need $500,000 spent for 40 doors. We can accomplish.
Awesome.
So
that's awesome.
Again, there's those conversations. I can talk for hours, man. So but there's so many decisions to be made. You want a builder that understands what those decisions are, and is a good delegator, and then manages the masses, right? 100%. So the conversations are important. You want to have them early and often, okay, and ask the right questions. And if you want a builder who doesn't pretend to know it all either, we can't know it all. Every project has something new. But we surround ourselves because we sub everything. We don't employ people here that go out and swing the hammers. We employ people that manage the processes, okay, and the relationships, which is key. The relationships are key, whether it's with the client, with the design team, or with the subs and the vendors. They work for us. We can move mountains with these guys because we worked with them for years. I can rattle their chains differently than you can as a homeowner, right? Because we have those relationships.
That's beautiful.
So
that's beautiful. Well, Stan, we're probably going to do a few more of these videos because I can tell you're a wealth of information.
I'm chatty Cathy. I can talk for hours.
And folks, you can see obviously he has so much information, so much knowledge, so much experience. Stan, what's the best way to get a hold of you if they do want to reach out?
I mean, I give people my cell phone number, 858-342-8106 gets me here. We have an office number, 858, what is it? 433-7253. So you can go to our websites, constructionsd.com. Check us out there. Instagram, Facebook, all that jazz. We our online presence isn't as massive, but we are. But you talk to us, we've got referrals. I got a referral sheet as long as my arm for people that we've worked with.
Beautiful.
We've never marketed before. We're just kind of getting into that world now.
Yeah.
Learning the ropes on how to get in front of people that want custom homes built, big custom homes, right?
Beautiful. So, well, Stan, this was awesome. This was awesome, folks. Again, reach out to Stan, custom home builder here in San Diego, folks. You're looking for something to really, your time is valuable. Your money's important. Well, Stan's the man.
Yeah.
Stan, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.